Alright then, so the dust has settled after yesterday, another horror show for Manchester United. And I think nearly every Manchester United fan, including myself now, sees absolutely no way back for Jose Mourinho as manager of Manchester United. And it really does pain me to say this, because I was almost certain that Jose Mourinho would turn the good times for even temporarily back to Manchester United, and it just never has materialised as Manchester United manager for a number of reasons. Now, it's not all been Jose Mourinho's fault, not at all. But a large chunk this season has got to come down to Jose Mourinho. I mean, the negativity that was coming out in the summer has just caused so much disruption this season, and it's been so bad this season. Our worst season for 28 years, and I just cannot see why the guy hasn't been sacked in recent weeks. I just do not know. After the home loss to Juventus, where he didn't even make a substitution, didn't even try to get Manchester United back in the game, was that a dig at the board? Was that just because we didn't have the experience on the bench and he just didn't want to use Chong, which he come out and said he didn't want to because he hadn't scored or wouldn't score? It's just been just a disaster for Manchester United from the whole thing, from the transfers, everything. But he needs to now go. You're looking yesterday at that team selection again, and it just pains me to say that I think the guy, I just don't know where the guy is taking Manchester United. I really don't. This was not the guy that I fell in love with when he was Chelsea manager, and I really wanted him to replace Sir Alex Ferguson and the guy that was at Inter Milan. This really isn't that same manager at all. You would never ever, in his time at them clubs, think of him being a manager that's going to play Ashley Young at left back or right back. We're going to have Marouane Fellaini come on, pump long balls up when we're so bad and so desperate. We're just so awful and negative with. I mean, the team selection is just absolutely atrocious for Manchester United. I mean, you're looking yesterday, Darmian, no disrespect to Darmian, and he did alright considering it was his first game for God knows how long. He's barely featured at all this season. I think he's featured like once this season or something. And he's starting the game. I mean, Jesus Christ, you've brought Diogo Dalot in, and he's back fit now, and he's not even getting a game. What is going on here, Jose Mourinho? I mean, Andreas Pereira's not getting no fucking minutes. And, I mean, Jesus Christ, we're still playing Matic and Fellaini's coming on. I mean, Matic has been horrendous lately and he's still getting in the team. I mean, Lukaku hasn't warranted any reason to start him in this game whatsoever. He hasn't performed well for absolutely weeks. I just don't know where we're going with this guy. He's just got to go. There just can't be one fan out there that wants this guy to remain as Manchester United manager past this month. I don't think Manchester United are going to sack him. I would love to think so, and to be honest, I would accept losing the next game to Southampton if it meant Jose Mourinho was sacked, because Manchester United are not going to get in that top four now. It is almost going to be, basically, unless Manchester United go on one hell of a run now between now and the end of the season and win probably 95% of our matches, we are not making that top four. So top four is gone, so it doesn't matter if we lose a couple more games and Jose Mourinho is gone, because I think the mood would change at Manchester United. Things are not going to turn around. The season is gone. The season is a complete write-off. Okay, we've got the FA Cup still to look forward to, and possibly the knockout stage of the Champions League. But let's be realistic. We're definitely not going to win that Champions League, and the chances of winning the FA Cup at the way we're playing are so remote, it is untrue. So the season is a write-off. So I don't see why keeping Jose Mourinho much longer is going to change anything. And I said just that it can't get much worse than this, can it? How can it get much worse than this if we even have to bring in a caretaker manager from now to the end of the season? What can be worse than going from 7th or 8th down to 12th or 13th? I mean, okay, it looks worse, but Manchester United aren't going to change whether we finish there, because there's going to be, either way, there's going to be no Champions League football. And to be honest, even if we finish 7th and end up in the Europa League, does anyone want to be in that Europa League? Most fans are going to say they don't. So, but it's just utter catastrophe at Manchester United at the moment. I mean, I just see all these players like the likes of Andreas Pereira not getting any minutes for Manchester United, and it is very painful when you're seeing matches start week in, week out. And I was looking at the stats yesterday. Lukaku, 4 goals for Manchester United, 5 for Belgium. Jesse Lingard, 2 goals for England, none for Manchester United. Rashford, 2 goals for Manchester United, 3 for England. Alexis Sanchez, 2 goals for Chile, 1 goal for Manchester United. And that just says the whole story. None of these players are giving their all for Manchester United. I understand that. They're not giving their all for this manager. And it isn't right. These players shouldn't be let off. They should be criticised for that, but at the end of the day, you cannot get rid of all them top quality players, because some of them are top quality players. We know Alexis Sanchez has been a world-class player at Arsenal. Fantastic for Arsenal. In his last full season, they've scored over 30 goals for Arsenal. He hasn't just gone to complete rat shit. Jesse Lingard performed very well for England the other week. Marcus Rashford against Croatia was tearing them to bits in that game until he got taken off because of injury. Absolutely tearing them to pieces. And we're not seeing that for Manchester United. He's been absolutely atrocious this season. Jose Mourinho is not getting the best out of them. Lukaku hasn't scored in about 11 games and shouldn't have even started yesterday's game. It's an absolute fucking joke. It really is. Where is this guy taking Manchester United? I mean, there's reports coming out that Chris Smalling is going to get a new contract at Manchester United. Ashley Young is going to get a new contract at Manchester United. Potentially Antonio Valencia. And now Juan Mata is going to potentially get a 3-year contract. Okay, I'm for Juan Mata potentially getting a new contract, but 3 years is maybe pushing it a bit, considering his age. But the other guys shouldn't even be at Manchester United anymore. And we're looking to give them new contracts. Yet we're not fighting tooth and nail to keep David De Gea, who is probably going to go in the summer, and Anthony Martial, who's going to probably go in the summer. And okay, Anthony Martial hasn't hit the heights that I thought he could at Manchester United, and has largely been very inconsistent for Manchester United. But under a better manager, who knows? Could he get more out of him? I 100% believe it, because there's been a few games this season where he's been okay, Anthony Martial, but yesterday very, very poor. And we've had too many of them games over the years. He's had 3 or 4 good games, and then he's had some games where he looks like fucking Bebe. And you think, is this the manager not getting more out of the player on a consistent basis? I just don't know, but this team is just nowhere near performing. You're looking at the likes of Pogba, nowhere near good enough yesterday. Matic obviously nowhere near good enough either. And I mean, that's a World Cup winner you've got there that played all the games pretty much for France in the summer, was bossing it in midfield, scoring a goal in the final, potentially being the man of the match in the final, and we're not seeing that for Manchester United. Not one player has performed anywhere near their heights this season, and I'm afraid you cannot get rid of 12, 13 or more players when there's only probably 3 players, maybe 3 or 4 players that are on side with Jose Mourinho. I mean, obviously Marouane Fellaini being one of them, probably Chris Smalling, and maybe Ashley Young, but that, and maybe Matic, a push, maybe would want Jose Mourinho to stay as Manchester United manager, and maybe even Victor Lindelof, because he's been playing regularly and has been coming into okay form, not been world class at all, but okay form. But besides that, the rest of these players don't want the guy to be at Manchester United. And what is the point in Manchester United holding on to this guy even? Because we know if Manchester United do fire Jose Mourinho, it's not going to turn around. And Manchester United are going to go and shoot up the league and win 10 games on the bounce. And that would be very unlikely that Manchester United would do that. But it would definitely improve the mood around the camp, I believe. Because the mood is so bad at this moment in time around the camp. There's so much negativity, the players are all down, and it's just no good for the players to be this downbeat. I mean, who wants to go to work every day and be so downbeat, not want to play for the manager because he's criticising certain players, coming out and giving pop at certain players in the press? No one wants that. If that was happening in any other job, most people would just clear off their job if their manager was having a pop at them, saying shit about them behind their back or whatever. These people would fuck off. It's the same in this job. Okay, they're earning great money and they should be putting in more effort. I agree with what Roy Keane said. These players, when they go out on the pitch, should be given 110%. I know he would have given every fucking ounce on that pitch if he was in that Manchester United team. Now, I understand that, but these players aren't performing for the manager, and I'm afraid he's got to go. He's just got to get out of this club. There is no way back for Manchester United. The big question, obviously, is who does replace him now to the end of the season. And I've come to the conclusion that I don't mind who replaces Jose Mourinho in close. Well, after Christmas, it will probably be confirmed, because it will probably be miles off the top 4 come then. When we lose to probably the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal, or when we have some shit results like yesterday, we will probably be about 15, 20 points off the top 4 then. And then we will probably make a change when we're probably 9th or 10th in the league. And I wouldn't have a problem with Manchester United giving it to someone like Kieran McKenna until the end of the season, if Manchester United make plans now to bring in a director of football and decide who they want to bring in as the new Manchester United manager. The process should be starting now to decide who comes in for next season, so that the manager has a clean sweep at Manchester United in the summer, like Jose Mourinho did when he first come to Manchester United. He can then decide on maybe even go to some of the games, start thinking what he wants to do for next season, so that we start that process of bringing in the new manager then. And who knows, maybe if Manchester United can't find the ideal candidate, maybe even McKenna could be that man. He done very, very well with the under-18s for Manchester United. They performed very well, played some nice attacking football. He's probably learnt stuff off Jose Mourinho this season, alongside Michael Carrick. So what is the problem? And for me, Manchester United cannot get much worse, as I say, than we are now. We're not going to win the Champions League. Does it really matter if Manchester United progress in the FA Cup? It would be nice to win the FA Cup. But we didn't even win the FA Cup last season under Jose Mourinho. It was a horror show in the final. So, I mean, what really makes any difference now if we sack the guy and was to bring in McKenna? I really don't see that, because I can't see that Manchester United are going to get someone else in. Now, I think that Zidane is another gamble. So that is another gamble, just like Kieran McKenna coming in. Antonio Conte is not going to come in now, who would probably be about the most riskless manager we could see out there, and he would only be short term anyway. So we're not going to, and the talk is that Manchester United would probably really want Pochettino, and there's no way that Pochettino is going to come in now at this stage when Tottenham are performing much better than Manchester United, playing much better football and so forth. So I wouldn't be opposed to giving McKenna the chance to take the reins now till the end of the season, see what he can do with this team. The mood would probably improve around the camp, and it may even improve some of the results and performances on the pitch. And if Manchester United were to gradually build up some confidence and get up in the table just a little bit, then who knows, McKenna may be the man. Manchester United have gone down the route of hiring experienced top managers in Louis van Gaal and in Jose Mourinho, who I thought were going to turn the table and help Manchester United get back closer to the top, but it hasn't worked out with them two managers. So who's to say we can't go down this different route and try things? I mean, a lot of teams have gone down this route abroad and gone for someone in club, and it's worked for them. You're looking at Barcelona have generally gone for that. Real Madrid went for that in the manager they've currently got, and in Zinedine Zidane, who was managing the reserves or whatever you call it in Real Madrid. Okay, it's different there because Real Madrid have had a world-class team, but still he went on and done wonders with Real Madrid. I mean, 3 Champions Leagues in a row cannot be knocked for. So I'm not opposed to it. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. A young, exciting manager who played attacking football for the under-18s, and I would just see where it goes, because we're not going to get anyone else in, and the mood's just not going to change around Manchester United. Some of these players are looking to leave Manchester United if things don't change around the club, and with a new, young, exciting manager that could take charge till the end of the season, maybe the mood will change some of these players, and maybe some of these players might actually want to be at Manchester United rather than want to leave. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Who do you think could potentially come into Manchester United now, between now and the end of the season? Would you prefer to bring in Zinedine Zidane, or if he doesn't want the job, would you prefer to bring in Conte, or would you prefer to give it to Kieran McKenna, who would probably be my favourite at this moment in time, now that the season's gone? Before, I wanted someone more like Zidane or a Conte to come in with more experience, when there was more of a chance of still getting in the top 4, or even potentially challenging the title, or doing well in the Champions League or the FA Cup. But now with that just dying of dead, then I'm not against Kieran McKenna coming in and just trying to pull things together and just steady the ship for next season. Let me know who your preferred manager would be for now, because Kieran McKenna is probably about the only option Manchester United really have now. With the others, I just can't see Manchester United getting that experienced man that's won stuff around the globe at this stage of the season. It's going to be very unlikely. I think that is one of the main reasons why Manchester United haven't given Jose Mourinho the bullet right now, is because they didn't know who could come in and do the job, and they probably thought that Jose Mourinho could still turn it around and at least make the Champions League and then give him the bullet in the summer. But that isn't going to happen now. Manchester United, we've got to be realistic, are not going to be challenging for the top 4 places this season. We are too far adrift. So that is gone. We've got to think of the bigger picture and start building for next season and looking around. Get rid of Jose Mourinho and look around Europe to see which manager Manchester United want to bring in for next season, and get that director of football in as well. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.